Welcome to Finding Folklore, the bi-weekly podcast that explores all that is myth, legend, and folklore in Scotland and beyond. I'm Ryan, your host, and today we are joined for the very first time by a guest storyteller, my friend Neel. Neel, welcome to Finding Folklore.
Hi, Ryan. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Uh, so I Before we start, would you like to tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and how you came into storytelling?
Right. I should have written down a little bit of a CV for this. Uh, but briefly, I moved here from India a few years ago and kind of chanced upon the Scottish Storytelling Center. And I had been a writer and a performer in India, in a previous life, an actor as well, and then abandoned those things for corporate greed, which then eventually got me to Edinburgh. Um, and here, I mean, I've gotten into the apprentice program with the Scottish Storytelling Forum and really enjoying the entire process of storytelling. Um, yeah, I'm really enjoying also getting to know both Scottish mythology and folklore, and kind of connecting them with Indian folklore and some of the stories that I grew up with, but also more modern stories, which is really where I'm most excited by the kind of stories from the British Raj and colonial stories of the recent past.
And we performed together at an event live at the Scottish Storytelling Centre
Hmm.
in October, and you had everyone there on the edge of their seat, as you did that night. We both done a story at the Gid Crack Club in Edinburgh. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to tell today. So I reached out to you specifically asking if you knew any creation myths, because being January, I felt creation myths were very appropriate because I think it's this time of year everyone is looking for a new beginning. So I thought, what's more appropriate than the stories that begin everything?
Lovely.
So I have already told the Norse creation myth on the podcast, and if anyone is yet to listen to that, go check that out after this episode. But Neel, if you would just like to give us an intro to the story and take it away, um, we'd be delighted.
Thank you, Ran. Thank you for all the kind words as well. And back at you, Ran. If anyone on listening to this ever gets a chance to go and watch Ryan performing live, I've gone on a deep dive on his podcast, uh, obviously for obvious reasons, but honestly, watching him live is another experience, and he's amazing. So please go and watch him wherever you can find them, whether it's on YouTube or somewhere in the various spaces he's performing at. All right. So the story I'm going to tell you is the cookie cutter vanilla Hindu um, creation myth. And the reason I chose to do it is because, honestly, it's the first story in the Hindu pantheon of stories. And I'm always uncomfortable doing Hindu mythology, and the reason why is that I'm a political person, and Hindu mythology is sort of uh, weaponized in India a fair bit, and I do kind of try to stay away from it, only because these mythologies are from a living religion. So not only, unlike say Norse or Greek, where people aren't actually practicing it, so you do not have the kind of levels of um, of both the sensitivity that you have to keep with when you're talking about somebody's religion or telling stories from somebody's religion, but also the kind of weaponization uh, that certain people can create with these mythologies. So, however, what I actually really do like about the opportunity that Ryan has given us is to go back to the basics, to find the original myths, to bring and strip away all the political and social superstructures that are built on these myths. And I quite enjoyed that process. And I think at some point, some of us atheists born Hindus should be able to kind of reaffirm our faith in how lovely these stories are, but not in the actual uh, the what the stories say. So, the creation myth of Hinduism. At the beginning, there was only water. The universe was water itself, and from the water emerged one day a golden egg, because Brahma had created himself. His name is Swayambhu, the one that creates himself. And suddenly that golden egg cracked and two halves opened up, and Brahma emerged on his lotus. And from the top half, he created Swarg or heaven, and from the bottom, he created the earth. And he held that earth and he put it in the water of the universe. And in that act, he created time. And from time was born the eight directions and language and the clouds and thunder and rain and trees and plants. And then Brahma was tired. He realized he needed help. So he created the Prajapatis, the lords of the people. But there was a fundamental flaw in the design of the Prajapatis. See, Brahma created them far too pious, because instead of working, they got busy with tapas or meditation, and they meditated day and night on the beauty of Brahma, the creator, and Brahma got angry. He got angry. He got really angry, and he realized that he was the creator, but he needed to create the destroyer. And so he created Rudra or Shiva, the god of destruction. And Shiva woke up and he started to wreak havoc. He took all the creations of the Prajapati and he started burning them. And the Prajapatis realized their mistake and they went to Brahma and said, please, please, please stop him. And so Brahma stopped Rudra on the condition that the Prajapatis go back to work. And they did. They got busy. They created the devas and the heavens and the gods, and they created the animals and food, and all this while Brahma sat on his lotus and he created the Vedas, the scriptures, to guide the Prajapatis. And then the Prajapatis stopped and they pled to Brahma, we need a break. We need to go back and meditate. And Brahma was happy with their creation. And so, in a moment, he said, all right, go. And they went and they started meditating. And Brahma looked around and he realized that he'd spoken too soon, because his job wasn't done. His job would never be done, the job of creation. And so, from his right side, he created a man. Manu, and from his left, he created a woman, Shatarupa, and Manu and Shatarupa, the man and woman that he placed on earth. And we, the descendants of Manu and Shatarupa, still carry on that work of creation. Thank you.
Thanks for telling that, Neil. That was a very nice story. I really enjoyed it, and I had never heard it before. Honestly, I am not particularly familiar with the Hindu myths, um, and it's really nice to hear something completely new. And yeah, I really enjoyed it very much.
You're most
Um,
welcome. And thank you
and
for having me, honestly.
of course, I don't normally discuss the story too much. I'd rather let it sit and simply ask any listeners to let us know what they thought of the story in the comments. But you have a gig coming up. Would you like to mention when that is in case anyone has the opportunity to join?
That is a great question, Ryan. I wish I had the answer immediately, which I will. It is on the second Wednesday of February. Give me a second.
No problem. Just
It is
just
in,
double check that to make sure.
yeah, it is in February, and it's it's on the 28th of February, on Wednesday, the 28th of Feb, at the Scottish Storytelling Centre, for the Apprentice Night. Please, please, please do show up. There are 8 other storytellers, so 9 of us, and it's going to be amazing, and it's a lot of fun. And
Set to be
Ryan's been
quite an
to us,
event. And the theme is
leap years.
leap years, yes, and
Mhm.
magical places, right? So it
Leap years and
should
magical
be
places. Yes.
should be quite a night of storytelling. Definitely worth people coming along to. Um, I look forward to seeing it myself. I will be there, however, not in a performing role this time. But that's all from us today. Thank you for listening, and until next time, may the devil walk behind you. Bye for now.